Hey guys, welcome to another 10-minute review. Today we have an animation by Arahmitz, a heavy lifting door that doesn't want to open. And I think that the way the shot was set up serves as a good example to a lot of you, but also the animation needs a little bit of loving that hopefully I can shed some light on what can be actually improved on for Arahmitz to actually take this animation over the line. So let's get started. Okay, so I'm going to have to set the timer as usual, so let me just go ahead and do that on my phone. All right, where's my 10-minute timer? There you go, 10 minutes on the clock. Let's get started. All right, so I'm going to play the animation a couple of times and then we're going to go ahead and review it. Okay, so here's the thing, Arahmitz. I think there's a few things that work well. So the very first thing that I like to highlight is that I like how you are gamifying your shot, right? The fact that you have an A showing up here and the fact that that A is actually pressing a few times, that is really nice. Now, the gamification of a shot is really important for all those that are listening to this now, because it means that to a future employer that they really know that you want to get into games, right? For all those that actually don't know. Now, your gamification in this case has a little bit of a flaw, and that is just at the start, because you basically have a press A and then you have a press A again. What you really want to do is basically have something that says open door and then maybe assign it to another button just so you can have a difference, and then press X. Press X, open door, that disappears, and at that point you have to press A to open door. Now it helps you to actually have a little bit of a saying or a little bit of a tell, a little bit of a writing on top telling you what you need to do, right? So for example, when you start playing God of War for the very first time, the very few times in the beginning that you have to face an enemy, the game will tell you press A to, and then whatever, right? Like to punch or to release or to lift or whatever it is. So this is basically what you want to replicate here, because as a viewer, or in this case, a gamer, you don't know why you have to press A. And in most games you have a prompt, and the prompt normally notifies you on UI what you need to do, right? So that's just something that you can change quickly to make your animation slightly better. Now, another thing that I would say is basically the animation specific. This idea of like moving the camera to actually showcase more of the action is also correct. But at the moment, there's a lot of things happening at the same time. You need to break things down into almost like separation and beats. So the viewer, the player can actually see what's happening. So here, for example, the camera is moving, right? The camera is moving, they press in the button, and the character is actually kind of like hunching down to go and open the door. It's too many things happening for the viewer or the player to actually pick up on what's going on. So you need to basically break it down in a way that press A happens, right? Press A to open this door. That's a little bit of an idle there that allows you to kind of read as a viewer that the player needs to action something before something else happens. Then the second beat should be maybe that the character goes down to open the gate and then the camera moves, or the camera moves to this position and then the character hunches, right? But both things cannot happen at the same time. It's almost like you are preparing the player for it to actually have an action, right? So you need to decide there which way you want to go with that, right? And then when it comes to the mechanics of the animation here, when it actually is lifting up the door, that door doesn't feel very heavy at the moment. Correct me if I'm wrong, once again, ping me on Discord, but let me know if you actually took reference, because I feel like perhaps you didn't take reference. You were just doing it off of either a video, or maybe you were kind of like setting it up or trying it out in Maya scene perhaps and having a feel for it. But if you haven't taken reference of yourself making this action, 100% do that, right? So grab something heavy, whatever you have heaviest, a big piece of log or something that is heavy, right? And then try to lift it up and try to replicate what the character is doing here, which is basically lifting a door. And most likely what you're going to find is that you're going to spend quite a lot of time here on the bottom section trying to get the door to lift up. Because if you think about it, gravity normally has a massive pull over or heavy objects, over any object, but the heavier the object, the more the pull towards down, right? So for you to grab the door, like just thinking about it logically, for you to grab that door, that is going to be like achievement number 1. But then for you to actually go past the middle of the door, which is the most difficult bit. So basically from here to here, right? This is incredibly hard to actually lift. But from here to about here to the top, this is much easier to lift, right? So you need to make sure that you sell that idea that this is hard. And then even more than that, this extra section right here at the bottom, for you to go up that section, your body gives you the least leverage to actually lift that door, because after you go like above more or less here, your legs are actually kind of like used to kind of like lift things up, right? It's, if you look at heavyweight lifters, you can see what I mean. You'll see that when they are down and are trying to go up, the flex under 45 degrees is really hard. And as soon as you go past 90 degrees and a little bit above, then things get much easier, right? And then there's a little bit of a bump right at the end when they go like 90 degrees again to actually be 100% straight. So that's kind of like the effort that you need from your animation. And then as details, make sure you pay attention to your hands, because you are kind of like using the hands, they kind of feel flat at the moment. And also there needs to be a little bit of setup time, right? So don't just go down and do the thing, right? Go down and just kind of like just prepare yourself, right? Just like yell there, prepare yourself, psych yourself up, like, and then lift, right? Because that moment, that acting moment, that psyching of of the lifting of the door gives the player, gives the audience some time to kind of like understand what's about to happen. And that's really important for you to really make your animation read the best way possible, right? So let me see, what else do I have? How much time do I have left? Just to double check. Okay, so I still have a bit of time left. So yeah, definitely the hands, you need to actually get those to look better. Then posing, I think here, right here, as you lift this first bit, as you have it here, you move your feet a little bit, but try to move your feet more, right? So you're here, like you lift the first part of the animation, and then basically you kind of have it at this point. So try to really position yourself. Once again, it's almost like you have a micro acting from the very beginning. You gotta go, and then you lift up, right? Again, so that actually should help you quite a lot to get this door to be better. Or you can even do it twice. So you can actually reposition yourself once right here to lift the door more, so you can put yourself under the door, and then you can do it again when he actually goes all the way up. Perhaps you should feel more like he's struggling, and he's struggling so much that really he needs to kind of like get a good grasp on that door. He needs to be, okay, I need to use all my strength here, right? I thought this was going to be easier, but boom, I'm going to use all my strength. So that should help you as well. And then there's the last advice. You need to find an ending to this, right? Because for me, once again, as an audience, I'm thinking, what happens after? This is all cool, looks nice, all that stuff, but what is happening, right? Does he open the door because he needs to go through it? Does he open the door because somebody else needs to go through it? Is he helping a friend to actually escape somewhere? Does he want to go in? Once he goes in, does that door fall back down? Is it more like Indiana Jones, that he has a certain time to actually go in before that door slams back down? You have many options to choose from here, and I'm curious to see what happens next, because the animation is looking really cool. It's a cool idea, right? Also, that camera, when you actually get that camera to move from left to right, right here, make it less linear, right? Make sure that you actually kind of like get that camera to move slowly, and then get that camera to like basically slow out and then slow in, right? Or slow in and slow out, right? So it doesn't feel so much in your face. At the moment, it's very much like a harsh out and a harsh in, and the camera just stops. And that basically gives a lot of visibility to the camera, which is something that you normally don't want. You want the camera to be invisible. And one of the ways that you can find to actually get that camera to be invisible is that it goes from still to slowly moving out, and then when it stops, slowly stop, right? So that actually allows for it to be less jerky. That's it, man. I think you're doing a good job, man. Continue going, Arahmitz. And thanks a lot for submitting this piece in our animation feedback. I hope this proves useful to you and everybody else that wants their animations reviewed. You can do one of two things, right? You can first join my Discord. Here we have lots of different chats. We have a lot of fun. There's an animation feedback channel that you can join in, and then I normally pick a random animation that I'm feeling or I feel like I have something to report to, and then I bring it back here on this 10-minute review. Second, if you actually want more in-depth reviews or more of a feedback session on your work, I have my animation mentorship where you can sign up and you can have either a week, a month mentorship, and at that point we can basically have a one-on-one where I can actually analyze your case, check what you're missing, and hopefully get you in the best path possible no matter where you are. And this goes for both like people that have not animated once or people that have been in the industry for many years. I can help both. I don't like to alienate anybody from actually learning animation. I think if I've learned animation, anybody can. So feel free to actually make your decision. All the links are down below, and I hope you enjoyed it. As always, thanks very much for my Patreons for supporting me in this channel every month. If you're interested in knowing more, head over to my Patreon. And that's all I had. Thank you very much for watching this video. If you like, subscribe, and comment. And see you guys next week. Until then, stay well, stay safe. Peace.